Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our Divi feature update live, coming to you every Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern. So just so that we don't mess up again like we did before, if you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up on Facebook or just a yes on YouTube. So that will help so we can diagnose the problem earlier. Okay, so I can see there's quite a lot of you that have already tuned in. I mean, I'm really excited. We have Toran, Toran 5x5. Awesome. Right, we have JR, we have Rocky Bull, Toran. Oh, I mentioned that already. Saeed. Yeah, JR from Paris. Paul Hooper. Awesome. Sagar. Ali from Algeria. Awesome. I mean, I think that's the first time we've had someone from Algeria joining us today. So that's really, really cool. Excellent, excellent. So we are broadcasting as well on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, please do leave your comments or questions as we go through today's show. Today, we are talking about a feature which was again released some weeks ago. It's the email opt-in module. Okay, so we're going to go through how to set it up, and we're also going to set up the redirection option, which is very, very important when someone signs up onto your mailing list. So these features we're going to discuss today are really, really powerful, and they'll help you grow your email list. So I'm just going to go over here and show you the article which has all these integrations. Right, so what I will do as well is I will leave a link to this post in the show notes below, so you can go ahead and read more about this. But today's idea is to just go in and make sure that we utilize all the features and make sure that we know how to use this service or these email services with our integration. Okay, right, so as I mentioned, if you have any questions, please do leave your questions in the comments box. I have my colleague who will be helping me out as well in case I get overwhelmed. Excellent. So as I mentioned, today we are talking about the email opt-in module. Now, initially, we started off with just 3 services. So we've upped them to 17. So in total, we have 20 services that you can integrate with our email opt-in module. Now, the email opt-in module is very, very important, especially if you're a small business owner, a blogger, or if you just want to grow your email list. Now, for those of you that may not know, growing an email list is very, very important when it comes to marketing, because it makes it easier for you to market to your target audience, because you have those email addresses and it's also targeted. So ideally, for this to work, you need to give something away for free. Now, here are some examples. You can use an ebook. So you can incentivize people to download your ebook in exchange for an email address. You can also maybe even use a course. So you could give maybe part of your course away for free in exchange for an email. It could be a discount. So you can see where I'm going with this. I mean, it can be anything. So whatever field you're in or whatever industry you're in, surely there is something that you can trade for, for an email address. So this is why it's important to build this email list. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick glance at YouTube and Facebook just to make sure that we don't have any questions before we start. Toran says, do you know how many of these services are GDPR compatible? Now, to be honest with you, I don't know what GDPR means. So if you can just elaborate on that, I'll be able to perhaps respond to that. In fact, Pablo has just responded and said, only MailJet is GDPR compliant. I'd like to know what GDPR is. So please, if you can just explain or maybe leave a link where I can read more about this, that'll be really cool. Right. Lauren says, any alarm will ring at this time. Fortunately, there's no disturbances from the alarm, so that's really cool. Right. Great. So let's get started. Right. So what I've done ahead of time is I created 2 pages, and I'll explain why we have these 2 pages. So first of all, I have this page, which I used. In fact, I thought you were looking at my... Right, so I created this page from one of our layout packs, the Marathon layout pack. So all I did is I loaded it up. So this page here has this subscribe, which allows us to capture our emails, right? So in the next stage, we are going to redirect. So let's say someone puts in their name and email address. We are going to redirect them to a thank you page, which is this page right here. So let me show you how to set those 2 things up. So just before I go ahead, if you take a look here, the list of email providers that we support are, as I mentioned, 17. And out of all these, the most common ones are already there. So ConvertKit, which is what I use, is there. We've got MailerLite, Mailster, Infusionsoft, MadMimi, Entrepod, iContact, and so on. So I'm sure you will be able to find your email provider right here on the list. If it's not here, I'll be interested to know what you use, so please leave that in the comments below as well. Okay, great. So now that we have this, I'm going to come over here and let's set up our email opt-in module. So I'm going to come over here. In fact, I'm going to try and zoom in so you can see. Right, okay. So right here, I'm going to come over here into my module settings. So over here, you can change this message to whatever you want it to be. So I'm just going to leave this as it is because I don't want to make this live stream too long and make it become about design. But we just want to stick to, you know, the how to use this properly. Okay, so you can change your message up here on the top. Okay, so that's for your text module. So now for our email opt-in, I'm going to come over here to my email opt-in settings. So again, over here on success action. Now this is what we didn't have before, but now we can actually choose what to have here. So first of all, you can either choose to display a message, which is what we have right now. So your message here could be thank you for subscribing. We'll send your free download via email. So that you can put it right here. But take a look here. When I click this drop down, we also have this option to redirect to URL. So if I select that, that means as soon as someone leaves their name and email address, we can now redirect them to a specific page. So this is why I created this thank you page. So I'm just going to highlight the URL here and then come back and paste my URL. And by the way, this is the way I really recommend to use your email opt-in. Great. So now that we have this information, that's great. Over here on the fields, you can use a single name field. Or if you say no, you can add more fields. So now you can see we have the first name, last name, and email. So normally what I do is I leave the last name out because a lot of people don't like putting out too much information. So first name and email works the best. Okay, so that's great. So over here now where it says email account, this is where you want to add your email provider. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose my provider. And by the way, if you click this drop down, it shows you all these providers. Okay, so I use ConvertKit, so I'm going to select ConvertKit. And then over here, you want to select a list. So as you can see, this is not showing me my list. This is because I need to set up my API key. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on add. So now you can see it's asking for my account name, API key, and API secret. Now this information, you get it from your email service provider. So in my case, I've chosen MailChimp. So I have to go now to MailChimp, sorry, to ConvertKit. Okay, and I'll show you where that information is. So if I click on login, so you can see here, I'm actually building my own email list and I've got about 4,000 in total. But anyway, my point is we need to get the API key. So I'm going to click over here on the right. And then I'm going to click on account settings. Okay, so this is where you get your API key and your API secret. Okay, so I'm going to highlight my API key like that. Come back over here, paste my key. And then the account name, I'll just give it a name like that. And then finally, I need to add my API secret. So what I'm going to do is I am going to get my secret from here. But of course, I won't show this because just in case this will be left out in the public and people will be able to go in and use it. Okay, right. So okay, so what I've done here is I've pasted my information, my API key and my API secret. So now if I go to list and select the list, this now gives me the opportunity to choose which list I would like to connect this opt-in to. So now that we have this, ideally what you want to do, let's say you are just a beginner and you're starting your email list. The first thing you want to do is to make sure that you come over here and create your email, your list first. So to do that, you come over here to forms. Where's the option for a new form? Okay, create new form right here. Okay, so you click on create new form and then select form. So it doesn't matter which one you choose here, you can just choose any. And then you want to give this a name. So on the top here where it says form 17, you give it a name and so that you remember how this list is going to tie in with your opt-in. So that's the main reason why you want to name this. So once you've named this, then it's going to show up in this drop down. So as soon as you click here, it will show up here. So every time someone adds their name and email address in here, they will be added onto one of these lists. So I'm just going to choose early bird for now, like that. And then that's all we need to do, right? So this is all set up now. Next, I'm just going to go ahead now and save. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go through some questions and see if we're all on the same page so far. Okay. Paul Hooper says, is this better to use than Gravity Forms? My answer to that, as someone who's used Gravity Forms before, is this is much better, definitely. Because Gravity Forms, the main purpose of it is to create forms. Now, if you want to customize your opt-in, of course, it allows you those integrations, but I would use this for this specific purpose. I know I can grow my list with Gravity Forms, but since you already have the Divi license, you might as well use this because it's part of the package. So to be honest, I would prefer using this because I have greater opportunities to style my opt-in. In Gravity Forms, you have to do a lot of CSS to really get it to look the way you want it to look. So I would pretty much go with this. Okay. Saeed says, when I use email opt-in from Divi using MailChimp to auto double opt-in, I think this Saeed, your double opt-in is set in MailChimp itself. It's not set in the actual module. It's set up in MailChimp, so you may want to take a look at that. I can't pronounce this name. I think it's Ratapula, I think. 71 says, why doesn't Outlook or Gmail providers? Okay, so I guess the question is, why isn't Outlook or Gmail in the email providers? Now, when we talk about these email providers, Gmail is a free service, so they don't really do these integrations, and Outlook as well is just a piece of software which pulls information from whatever email client you're using. Like in my case, I use Outlook with my Gmail account to pull in all those emails straight into my Outlook, so I can manage it much easier. So these are not like your standalone autoresponder services, because what autoresponder services do is they structure your emails and allow you to send bulk emails. So what you'll find is, if you try to send bulk emails with Gmail, they won't allow you to do that, and most of them will go into spam. So that is why these email providers are for that specific purpose, to send out bulk emails for your marketing. So Gmail does not provide that. That is why it's not on the list. So I hope I've answered that correctly. Ali says, is this module better than the Bloom plugin? It depends. Bloom is mainly for pop-ups. So if you want to, let's say, a pop-up for your website, and you can customize it to show up after a few seconds and all of that, that's where you'd use a Bloom. It also has features like slide ups and so on. But this one right here, this email opt-in module, is specifically designed to stay on a page. So it doesn't do any of those extra stuff. So it just depends how you want to use these two in collecting your emails. So I wouldn't say it's better, but it has its purpose. Paul Hooper says, does this support double opt-in? Double opt-in is mainly set up in your autoresponder service. So that's where you do your double opt-in. So it's not done actually on the opt-in module. So okay, right. I'm just going to check here on Facebook and see if we have more questions. Damian Wright says, so will the Bloom plugin pop-up still work with this? Yes, it will still work with this, because you can choose to have this email opt-in module on, let's say, on your landing page. But if you want to have your pop-up to show up on certain posts or on your landing page, that will still work. So this will not conflict in any way. So you can use both. Right. Okay, so let's continue and customize our page. Right, so we have set up everything here. And by the way, if you're just joining us, this is the Divi Feature Update Live. We go through our latest updates in detail to help you implement them in your designs. Today, we are talking about the email opt-in module, showing you how to set it up and also discuss all the features that were added. And these features were 17 email integrations from our marketing providers, and also the redirection opt-in. And this allows you to grow your email fast. Right, so I'm just going to go back in here so I can just show you quickly what we've done. So we've added our email account, it's ConvertKit, and we've also selected our list. And then over here on the success action, we've actually set it up so that when someone fills in their information here, it redirects them to the thank you page. Right, now, fingers crossed, we're going to try this out and see if this is going to work. So I'm going to save this page. Now, if this was on a public network, I'll actually ask you to sign up and see if it'll do the redirect, but I just have to try it over here. So I'm just going to click on Exit Visual Builder. Great. So right now on this page, I'm just going to go and add and sign up for this. Okay. Add my email. Okay, so I'm going to click on subscribe. There we go. So you see, automatically, as soon as I hit subscribe, this has now taken me to my thank you page. And this is where now you can give away your download. So let's say you're giving away an ebook. So this is where they can download it from. Again, you can add information on this thank you page. What ideally I would suggest, or what I've seen a lot of marketers do, is this is where you want... Unbelievable. In the beginning, I thought we were lucky not to have this alarm, but spoke too soon. Anyway, I was saying on this thank you page, this is where you want to add whatever you're giving away for free in exchange for the email. So this could be an ebook, it could be a prize, it could be a discount code. So whatever it is, this is what you want to add on this particular page. Okay, and you can design it however you want, and you can also maybe on the bottom here say to people, you know, visit our Facebook page for more information or whatever it is. But this is the purpose of this thank you page. So I'm just going to take a look here and see if we have more questions regarding this. Rana Ahmed says, in this update, can we now able to add forms in Slider Revolution? Now, to be honest, I haven't used the Slider Revolution, but if there's an option in there to add code, I'm sure you can actually do that, but I haven't tried it, so not sure. Saeed says, can we block the access of this page? Do you mean the thank you page is what you want to block access to? Not sure what you mean by that. But if that's your question, I think there's a way to do it with Yoast SEO to make that page not crawled by the search engines. So there is a way to do that in Yoast SEO for that particular page. Paul Hooper says, won't they be able to directly go to the thank you page? Yes, if they just went directly to the thank you page, they could actually see that page. So this is why I think Said asked the question, how can we block the direct access of this page? Yes, so the only way you could do this is by blocking that page from being crawled by the search engines. And like I said, I think there's an option that I came across on Yoast SEO where you can actually stop this page from being crawled. But yes, it is possible for this page not to be seen on the search engines. Oh, we've got some Chinese here. I'm not sure what that means. I don't have a translator, so I mean a translation program, so I can't respond to that. Sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to check on Facebook here and see if we have any questions. Damien Wright says, can I access this video later? The answer to that is yes. You can access this later. We will leave it up on our Facebook page and also on our YouTube page. So you can always go back and watch this. Okay. Great. So it looks like we don't have any more questions. So what I would say is go ahead and try this out. It is a great way of building your mailing list, and you can start straight away, especially if you are a Divi member. This email Optin module is already there, so you can just go in and start using it. So as I mentioned, you can use these email autoresponders like MailChimp, ConvertKit. They're really good. I've used them as well. If you're more advanced, maybe you could use Infusionsoft. But the main point is all these email autoresponder providers are there on the list. So you could try it out and see how that works. And I'd also like to say to those that tuned in today for this Divi feature update live, thank you very much for tuning in. It's time now to round up our show. Hopefully you've managed to gain something out of this. I'd like to say once again, thank you very much for tuning in. Do join me again next Monday, same time, 6 a.m. Eastern, and we will be covering another feature to help you with your design. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you have a great week. Take care.